Moments with God, a time of reflection for every day.
March 27th. The same mistakes. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent, and took Sarah. Genesis 21:2.
As time passes, the memories of a mistake fade, and we become vulnerable to repeating the same errors. The weaknesses that caused our past mistakes often resurface, leading us to the same fall. How important it is to remain vigilant at all times to avoid falling again. About 20 years had passed since Abraham had been in Egypt, and fearing that his wife's beauty would lead to his death, he concealed their true relationship, claiming she was his sister. This mistake put his wife at risk of being taken as Pharaoh's wife, and yet only through God's intervention was he spared. But time had passed, the years had faded those memories, and he had achieved success and triumphs in Canaan, giving little thought to that past era. Until one day, he had to leave Mamre, where his tent was pitched, and move temporarily to the land of the Philistines, in Gerar. There, he again repeated the mistake he had made in Egypt, claiming Sarah was his sister. King Abimelech then had her brought to his palace, for Sarah, at 90 years old, was still beautiful. However, once again, it was God who prevented the king from touching her. If anyone thinks he stands firm, let him be careful that he doesn't fall, says the Bible. And it doesn't matter how long one has been a Christian or religious. The battles we have won and the triumphs we have achieved are irrelevant. Like Abraham, when the time for God's promise to be fulfilled in him was almost upon him, his weakness, due to years of waiting, took control again, and for fear that something might happen to him, he said that Sarah was his brother, and he hid their relationship as wife. At all times we must be careful about how we act, what decisions we make, and the state of our faith.
We need to spend more time alone in audience with God. We need to guard our own thoughts. We are living, without a doubt, amid the dangers of the last days. We must walk before God meekly, with deep humility, for only those who do so will be exalted. Faith does not completely eliminate human weaknesses. Faith does not mean immediate perfection. Even people used by God can have fears or setbacks. God works through processes, not just results.
You can have genuine faith, yet still feel fear or dread. And fear can make you forget God's promises. You may fall even after a long time of service, but don't forget that God will lift you up again. Remember that God is in control, and in His hands we are safe. Be watchful, and always seek the Lord. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this audio. We invite you to share with your contacts and visit the website BibleWell.com.